O's fans, we may not have Framber Valdez today, but let me tell you what we do have is we got some top prospects. Joe Rossano's Orioles Report with Michael Sullivan is next. Welcome to Joe Rossano's Orioles Report with the brilliant Michael Sullivan. And speaking of which, Michael Sullivan, what say you, sir?
Well, I thought it'd be a good idea to spend a little bit of time talking about the Orioles' top prospects. And, a lot of times we hear the Orioles talk about their top prospects and media talk about their top prospects. But I think it's interesting to take a look at what the industry thinks of the Orioles prospects. And that within the last week, a number of different outlets have come out with their top 100 prospect lists for all of Major League Baseball. And there's a handful of Orioles that can be found on the various lists. So I thought it'd be useful to talk about those guys. And if you can give me your thoughts on some of them as we go through them. So I'll start with the guys who pretty much consistently appear on these lists. And these are lists from, there's one from ESPN, MLB.com, The Athletic, and Baseball America. And the number one ranked Orioles prospect on all of those lists is Samuel Basallo. And the other guy who appears on a couple lists three of the lists, is Dylan Beavers. Now, that should be no surprise. They both got a taste of the major leagues last year. But what do you think about those two guys and their prospects for 2026?
Okay, Samuel Basallo. All right, let's start there. At last I checked, and we all know how smart I am, he was the 9th ranked prospect in baseball, 8th or 9th. Michael, do you have a ballpark of where he's ranked, sir?
Yeah, he's ranked as high as number 4 by ESPN.
Oh, okay.
By ESPN, but you're right. He's ranked 8th by MLB.com. He's ranked 8th by The Athletic, but as high as 4 and as low as 8 or 9. Yeah.
Okay, and I assume Dylan Beavers, he just cracked like the 100, like he's in the 80s or 90s, right? I mean, he's not a top 10 guy, right?
He's not a top 10 guy. ESPN ranks him number 57. MLB
That's
ranks
not bad.
him. Yeah, not bad. And Major League Baseball, MLB.com ranks him 69th. Baseball America ranks him around the same as that. And I guess what, they're saying, because a lot of these sources will try to give you an idea of what they expect from these players. And Beavers, basically, they say he should be a solid major league right fielder, but probably not anything more, like not a star. That's their assessment. Basallo, I mean, everybody's sort of like the sky is the limit. And I think it was ESPN.com. They give like comparables, people that they think he may over the life
Fine
of
to hear this.
be like. And they said,
yeah,
Salvador Perez. They said Gary Sanchez, but I think they mean Gary Sanchez in his early years, when he was an impact bat. And then as a hitter, they said maybe Jim Thome.
Well, I will tell you this, Samuel Basallo, what we've seen, the young man can flat out mash. All right. And I got to tell you, as Rod Tidwell once said, I dig that about him. Yeah. I mean, 2026. Now he's going to get at bats, either as a DH, a catcher, or as you indicated in an earlier episode, possibly at first base from time to time. And I think he's in the lineup every day. I really do. And I think that Samuel Basallo really is. I think he's a 30 home run guy. Now, will he get there? We got to keep in mind our pal Ryan Mountcastle hit 33 in 2021. Now, moving to Dylan Beavers. You know what I always say when I like someone, Michael. I'm a big Jim Carrey Dumb and Dumber fan. I like him a lot. I really do. I like Dylan Beavers, and him being what they are considering, and they're the experts, of course, because we all know how right they are all the time, is going to be basically an average major league outfielder, maybe slightly above average. I disagree for this reason. His swing is John Olerud-esque. Now, some of you out there, you're going to have to, John Olerud, I'd suggest you Google that one. But I think he is a 270 to 285 hitter. And he's got power. His outfield, I mean, we're going to call it close enough, but for 2026, I think he's going to play a lot. I think, especially against right-handers, I think he's going to play a lot. And I like him, Michael Sullivan. I like him. Am I wrong?
No, I like Dylan Beavers a lot too. And I mean, of the two, Basallo and Beavers had the more impressive major league debut last year. To be expected, Beavers is older, Basallo's incredibly young, but I thought he showed well while he was here last year. I was particularly impressed with his selectivity at the plate. He was selective, not like a young guy hacking around. It'll be interesting. We had a discussion about this on another episode about, where the at-bats come from, right? I know he's going to get a lot, but that outfield is jammed with Tyler O'Neill and Taylor Ward and Colton Cowser. And so he'll get a lot, could end up playing out like a platoon situation. But yeah, I like Dylan, and I think that, he's in line for an improvement over last year. And Basallo, we'll just see. He didn't get many at bats. He hit 165. Both of these guys are maintained their rookie status for the coming year, which is important
That
because if
helped.
one of them
Yes.
finishes in the top 3 for the Rookie of the Year award, then, the Orioles get a draft pick. So, yeah, I'm hopeful about both of those guys. Basallo, we got to really hope because they signed him to a massive, 8-year contract. So, he better turn into what they expect him to turn into. So those are the guys.
Or did
Like
they get the better of the deal?
that's the chalk, right? We all knew that Basallo and Beavers would be there.
Mhm.
But one of the other guys that I had heard of him, but certainly not as much, and he pops up on 3 out of these 4 lists, is Nate George.
Yeah, Nate George. You see
Nate
now what you're
George.
going to do here, Michael. You're making your pal Joe Rossano put his glasses on here because I've done some research, but you threw one at me. I was not quite ready for. But yeah, I did do some homework on this fella, and let's continue, and then I'll come in as soon as I find my
Sure.
notes.
Well, so George is we're not gonna see him, this year or next year, but he's 19 years old.
Hmm.
He played for 3 teams last year, peaking at high A ball, right? And this is a guy who was a 16th round draft pick out of high school. And across 3 levels last year, he hit 337. He had an OPS of almost 900, and he stole 50 bases. And so he sort of came out of nowhere and started making these top player lists. And Major League Baseball ranked him 93rd. The Athletic ranked him 78th. So people think pretty highly of him. So he's a guy that would seem to have a future in Baltimore, but probably 2 or 3 years away.
So 19 years old, as you said. Okay. Now, here's the important things. Okay. When I put my scout hat on, he's got a good jaw. He's got a good jaw. And he's 6 foot, 200 pounds. And yeah, I mean, 50 stolen bases. Okay. We're talking about and 23 at bats. Okay. And 87 games. All right. 87 games. This young man stole 50 bases. That's a lot.
It
That's a
is.
lot. That's 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 Ricky Henderson speed right there, figuratively speaking, of course. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I like him too. I like
Yeah,
him
and
too. And you know what? They better stock up on him because I have a feeling some of these fellas are probably going to be gone soon.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
I mean, I
another
don't
show.
think
Go
that,
ahead.
Ward and O'Neill are, long-term answers for the Orioles. So it's good, and another outfielder who cropped up, who made one of these lists, well, probably for the first time since he was drafted, outfielder is Enrique Bradfield, who he only shows up on one of them. He's ranked just barely 7th in the Athletic list. Whereas Nate George seems like, as you mentioned, his build, 6 foot, 220, he's got speed, but he also has some power, particularly for a 19-year-old. Enrique Bradfield, by contrast, is 24 years old because he was drafted out of college. And last year, he did advance from single A to triple A. So, I mean, this is a guy who, with a good season in triple A, we could see in the majors this year. But he hasn't proven he can hit, across all three levels here.
Because
He only hit
currently, Michael, he
240 last
can't
year,
hit.
but he had a good
Yeah,
on-base
and
percentage. But going back to the Nate George thing, the stolen bases, the dude stole 36 bases last year in 76 games. And, his speed is just considered, I don't know, they give scores to like various skills, and the top of any skill, whether it's speed or power or defense, is 80, and he's an 80 for speed. The question with him will be just, can he get on base?
yeah, that's MLB The Show for the PlayStation numbers there. That's not too shabby.
Yeah.
Enrique Bradfield. All right. I mean, all right, we're gonna make people Google here, Michael, because we're 92 Social Security, you and I. He's like Mickey Rivers. Or is he going to be better than that? I mean, I just don't know. Is he Kenny Lofton? Now that would be amazing. But again,
I don't think he's Kenny Lofton. I just don't think the guy is ever going to have that kind of power. I mean, he might be Willie Wilson. Oh, people are going to have to Google that too. But if he could be like a 270, 280 hitter and steal 60 bases, that'd be fantastic. But I think right now, even that, you don't.
No, yeah, I mean, maybe Willie Randolph. No, but I mean, again, at the end of the day, he's I don't want to say he's a prototypical leadoff hitter, because prototypical leadoff hitters, 35 home runs now. Again, when you and I were a few years younger, a prototypical leadoff hitter in Baltimore, we had two of them. We might have had more. Brian Roberts, as you recall, most recently. Al Bumbry, again, get Google out there. Prototypical leadoff hitter. And again, that seems to be what Enrique Bradfield is. He seems to be, put him on the ground and leg him out. That type of thing. Every time you hit the ball in the air, you owe me 50 push-ups. It's going to be something like that. Okay. He's going to have to hit it on the ground and beat him out.
I think in today's baseball, Joe, that makes him the prototypical number 9 hitter. Because
it does.
Nobody bats just a guy who's a no power guy at the beginning of the lineup anymore. But people love to have somebody at the bottom of the lineup that gets on base for the guys at the top. So, if he can hit 260, 270 and keep his on base percentage up, he could definitely be that guy. And he's a great defensive center fielder too. So, he could be real valuable, and it's good to see him turning up on some of these lists finally. Now, there's a few more guys to talk about, Joe, but I don't know whether you want to save them, and we could probably do another segment and touch on just like 3 or 4 guys left if you want. Or we can go through them now.
So, you know what? No, I like your idea better, Michael. I like your idea better. But what I do want to say to the fans is, those fans, thank you very much for tuning in to Joe Rossano's Orioles Report with the brilliant, and let me repeat, the brilliant Michael Sullivan. As always, we do graciously appreciate you spending some time with us.
My head's not going to fit in frame.
Quick announcement. Joe. Yeah, well, let me. I'm going to give the folks the announcement here. May I? You were going to catch us live when the season starts, pregame for an hour up until first pitch, and then we're going to come back post-game, if we're still awake, that is, and we're going to allow you to call in and tell us what you really think of us. As always, those fans, God bless you. Don't forget to adopt yourself a pet, and we will see you next time.